A very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining with us for the Discover IT and BPM Opportunities in the UAE Market webinar organized by the SLASCOM Global Trade and Investment Forum together with Sri Lanka Consul General Office in UAE and Sri Lanka IT Professionals Association, also in partnership with the Sri Lanka Export Development Board. So to start off with things and to officially welcome you all, I would like to invite Mr. Alexi Gunasekara, Consul General of Sri Lanka in Dubai and Northern Emirates. Mr. Alexi, over to you. Mr. Alexi,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry. Okay, you can see me. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Right. This is actually a very important meeting that we are having. I mean, we from our side, we have the Consulate General Office, then also the Sri Lanka IT Professional Association in Dubai, and also from SLASCOM. SLASCOM has invited a lot of, I can see, very reputed companies are also here. The background to this event, if we talk, recently concluded GITEX. Some of the companies were like startups and others were like established companies. So we were able to have a kind of a business networking session for them as well, attending about 150 from both sides, and including the Honorable Minister Amanugam also was there. So what we realize is the potential here you have in UAE, mainly not only in Dubai, UAE, and also UAE plus. If you talk about the Gulf region, there is a huge potential for IT industry and to establish Sri Lankan IT presence in UAE as well as in Dubai. So that is the main purpose of today's meeting as well. We need the SLASCOM and all the IT professional associations and also the IT sector support to establish Sri Lanka very high quality IT suppliers to the UAE and the Gulf region. That is our mission, our objective. So we are extending our support to all the private sector companies in Sri Lanka as well as the business support organization in Sri Lanka with the IT Professional Association in Dubai, in UAE, to do that. So I will be here for the next 3 years as well, and from our side and also from the Sri Lanka Embassy in Abu Dhabi, we are all here to do that. So that is the main purpose of having this meeting, because I can remember that before we came here, also before I assumed duties as Consul General, we met the SLASCOM in Sri Lanka at the Department of Commerce. There also what we realize is if we are targeting $5 billion foreign direct investment from this sector, we have is rather than looking at our traditional markets. And also we have realized that this is one sector that we can add value and increase our exports, especially in services sector. So that is the main purpose. And I'm quite happy that a lot of people have joined today. And let's start the proceeding. And Ascom, this is from our side. And we recently, about 10 days ago, we discussed about Sri Lanka participation at the next ITEX that will be held next year. That also we discuss about the cost, everything that we have to target and we have to participate in that. That is no word about that. Apart from that, any other ideas that coming from you is very welcome in this regard. Rather than we don't have to wait until next ITEX happen in October. We can start from now on and make sure that Sri Lanka will, because I met recently the Indian Consul General as well as some of the Indian companies. They are doing great. You know, most of the companies are doing great. And Sri Lanka has a very good potential here. It's not about, I'm not talking about creating job opportunities for Sri Lanka IT professionals in Dubai or UAE. I'm talking about creating opportunities for outward investment and also joint collaboration with IT companies here to add value and then bring a lot of foreign direct investment to Sri Lanka as well as foreign exchange to Sri Lanka. So this is the whole purpose of having this meeting. Tascom, you can continue from that on because sorry that we are busy with the presidential visit that in another 2 days time it will happen because President will be leading the delegation to COP28. So we are busy with that as well. But then still I thought we should join this event and we should not postpone this event as agreed. That's why we are having this event today. Make sure this is a public-private partnership and with that we can do great things here. So we extend our support. We need your support to do that. Okay, over to you, Slasco.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alexi, and thank you so much for taking time to join this webinar with your busy schedule and also setting the tone for today's discussion. Let's move on to our first two speakers. So these speakers will be actually talking about the UAE market, the potentials, the insights, and also what are the strategies that can be used to enter the UAE market for our IT BPM companies. So our speakers are Damien Halpe, representing Slitpa, and Alvaro Casiro, representing Virtuzone. So speakers, over to you.
Thank you. Let me... Let me share my screen. Can you see that screen?
Not yet, Damien.
Not yet? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I think.
Yes, we can see now.
Okay, super. 1 second. Yep. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Damien. I represent the Sri Lankan IT Professionals Association of the UAE. We are a volunteer organization who look after the sort of welfare of the IT professionals from Sri Lanka in the UAE. And one of our mandates is to promote the Sri Lankan IT industry here in the UAE. So, as part of that directive, we are doing various activities to help Sri Lankan companies do business here and to explore market potential here in the UAE. So I'll take you through some slides to give you a basic understanding of the UAE market, the landscape of the business market here in the UAE. Just some key points. And later on in the Q&A session, we can, if you have any questions, we can discuss them. So, yeah. So one of the key points, the first key point is UAE is not relying on its oil revenue anymore. So as you know, UAE and especially Dubai is diversifying its revenue base. So they are now looking at tourism, real estate, financial services, even manufacturing, and especially technology. And the common theme throughout these markets is technology. So technology is used here in Dubai for most of these or all of these sectors that I just spoke about. So because of that, there is potential, and then because of this diversification. The next key point is the establishment of free zones. So Dubai itself has a few of them. There are other Emirates which have free zones, and my colleague Alvarez, he will sort of go through a few advantages and disadvantages of free zones versus mainland. But the main advantage would be the tax exemptions and foreign ownership, 100%, and import-export procedures, which are simplified for these sectors. And the main reason for these free zones is to attract foreign investment and to invite companies and especially like technology, logistics, and manufacturing companies to come into the region. And there are special free zones dedicated to technology-based companies, and that is something that you can take advantage of. The UAE is in the top 20 countries, which is business friendly. So they're in the top 20 list of countries that you can do business easily. And what the UAE government is actively doing is they are streamlining their procedures and improving infrastructure and making the regulations investor friendly. And you can see the volume of companies that have come into the UAE over the last few years. That's a testament to this sort of their philosophy of making doing business easy. And another key point is the tax the tax breaks that you can get here. So personal income tax doesn't exist here, so there is no tax on personal income tax. There is a VAT and there is a corporate tax which they have introduced since June this year. But again, this is based on brackets of yeah, it's based on brackets. There are depending on the revenue that you make, you may or may not pay corporate tax. But all in all, if for like personal income tax, you don't have to pay anything here in the UAE. And the foreign investment is something that the UAE government is actively looking for, and they are launching different initiatives for this, especially things like Golden Visa, which is a 10-year visa that you can get for if you invest a certain amount of money. And part of that is they're also looking for companies to come and invest their money here, to come and establish themselves here, and to bring investment from outside. And this could mean that it'll make it easier for you to do business here and bring money in from outside, because foreign investment is encouraged here actively. And of course, infrastructure, and this is something that the UAE prides itself in. So we have the government here invests a lot of money on infrastructure, the road networks, and so on. But more importantly, they also have invested in airports, ports, and transportation networks. So they have metro services. They have Etihad Rail, which is a Abu Dhabi-based rail for cargo. So they do these investments to make it more attractive for businesses to to come here and operate. And that itself could be something that is very important for an IT company, because they also do a lot of infrastructure which is for IT, specifically for IT, and there is a lot of investment in that area from the government. And as part of that infrastructure boost, they're also doing innovation and technology investments, and they have established a few entities within the country in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and in other Emirates as well, where they are actively trying to attract tech startups and tech giants alike. And they have other sort of initiatives to make it easier for technology-based companies to come here. And something that is sort of very prominent these days is artificial intelligence and renewable energy. So there's a good potential for these kind of technologies here in the UAE. And again, as part of that same trend, the UAE government is also supporting entrepreneurs and startups. So they have special zones dedicated for these as incubators to help with funding, as well as other support services for startups. So even if you are a small Sri Lankan IT company, if you have an innovative idea and a service or a product, you can use these services and avail these services from the UAE government if you come into this market. Something that is very important to this region is political stability. So again, UAE government takes a lot of care to maintain political stability within the country, to make it business friendly. And again, as the Honorable Consul General mentioned, it is a trade hub. It is a global trade hub. So we have inroads into Europe, Asia, and Africa. And more importantly, we have very close ties to the Middle East from here. So if you base your operations here, you can take it as a stepping stone to move into the Middle East market, which would and you can even test your products and services within this market before you move into the rest of the Gulf region countries. Just a sort of note, this is like a bonus extra. This is a culturally diverse country. So they have a lot of expatriates living in the UAE. And when doing business, it is essential that you build the trust by sort of integrating yourself into the cultures. And that is very important when you come to establishing your company here. So that's just a note, but a very important note at that. So in summary, the landscape of business in the UAE, it has a strong commitment to diversification. It's very business friendly. The infrastructure is there for you, and it's a strategic location. And that alone sort of should put you in good standing to establish a business here, and then move beyond these borders once you do. Just a few sort of trends and forecasts that are there for the ICT sector within the UAE. So the market value for the ICT sector was 36.14 billion in 2022, and for 2027 it's 65 billion. So that is the forecast, and a compounded annual growth rate of 12.46, which is quite significant. And this is aided by those things that I've mentioned before. And if you look at the growth sectors, again, this is not a comprehensive sort of study. This is something that we have just got based on our understanding. So this is what the sectors would look like. So as you can see, manufacturing, transport, and construction is 7, 7, and 9%. And then if you take banking, financial services, and insurance, energy, and other services, it's all double-digit growth. And this is a forecast for 2027. Now, looking at all of this, we can ask, okay, what's the role of SLITPA? How do we help? So we are, as I said, we are a non-profit organization. We are strictly volunteer basis of IT professionals. And this is, broadly speaking, our mandate. So the priority is given to promoting the Sri Lankan IT sector, business opportunities, outsourcing opportunities for the Sri Lankan IT sector. And again, we have the welfare of our members and supporting our motherland through various charitable donations and other activities. Right. So as part of the SLITPA, we are here for the Sri Lankan IT community. If and when they want our help, we can assist you the best we can. And our capabilities we are a relatively new organization. We just started in 2021, but we already have around 300 members and is growing. And the members are from Dubai predominantly, and Abu Dhabi, and the other Emirates as well. Our members work in diverse companies, not only in IT companies, they also work in other sectors like banking, transportation, travel, cargo, and so on. But in the respective IT departments. And we do have a positive outreach to other communities within the UAE. So, for example, we do have networking events where we do get a lot of non-Sri Lankan nationals attending as well. The last couple we did of them, we had a few of them. Excuse me. And how we support the Sri Lankan IT companies. Again, this is sort of a broad sort of mandate that we have. We provide guidance on a one-to-one basis to set up the business and sort of give a general understanding of the UAE market. We provide exposure to our members. So basically, we can promote your business amongst our members and then try and get you leads through them. And again, something that we also encourage Sri Lankan IT companies to do is to conduct CPD sessions and partnerships with SLITPA, where they can promote their products and services amongst our members. And even if you're a partner, then you'll also be able to promote it during our events, which should be open to everyone. And so we would also, if you are based in the UAE, then again, we would have the opportunity to give you access to our network and our monthly events, which are called the Techie Chat, which happens on the first Tuesday of every month, where we have a informal gathering at a cafe or another location, where we invite IT professionals as well as non-IT professionals from Sri Lanka and outside. So in a nutshell, this is what the market, the UAE market would look like, and some facts and figures about the forecast for the market, as well as what SLITP can give you. What we are, the next speaker is one of our partners, service partners, who is going to sort of talk to you about how to set up a business and what you can expect from by starting up your company in the UAE. Thank you very much, Alvarez. So,
thank you very much, Damien, for the presentation. Thank you very much as well, Mr. Consul General, for the kind words and introduction. Let me share my screen first of all, so I can give the presentation.
I think, Damien, if you can stop sharing the screen, I think Alvaro will be able to share his screen.
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Alvaro, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Give me 1 minute.
Alvaro, if you can, yeah, if you can unmute yourself, we can hear you.
Now it's working?
Yes, yes.
Can you see the screen? Everything well?
Yes, yes, you can start the presentation.
Okay. Well, so first of all, my name is Alvaro. I am from Virtuthon, corporate lawyer and company setup specialist. As Damien said, we are doing all kinds of setups in the UAE, mainland, free zones, offshore, depending on the needs of the client and the personal profile. So starting for giving a path of what's the UAE and the opportunities that can give to /com companies like related with the IT. It's fair to understand that the closeness to Sri Lanka itself, the opportunities that it gives to all the Asian companies and Middle Eastern companies due to its tax frame and legal framework. It's the second largest economy in the Middle East. Most of the Fortune companies have presence here in the UAE. It has a very convenient geographic position, as Damien said. It's in the middle of Asia, Africa, and Europe. You can reach from Dubai in an 8-hour flight more than 2/3 of the population in the world. So in terms of doing business and the purpose of closing deals with several companies worldwide, yeah, of course, it's one of the best opportunities to establish your own company in here. In terms of the tax, we believe that this is the most important thing and the most interesting thing for new companies, as the tax framework has a lot of opportunities, not only because it's a low tax framework in both corporate income, dividend tax, but also for the growth of the company itself. You can either have a branch company from your existing one in Sri Lanka, you can have a separate one in the UAE, you can have an offshore controlling branch that you have in the UAE. You have multiple options depending on the profile of the client, the activity that you're doing, the countries you're working with. So we could say that the government itself, it's not breaking with the activity that the entrepreneur wants to do. So as I'm saying, favorable tax policies, 0% income tax and low VAT rate, plus low corporate tax rate. We'll go later on with the corporate tax because it's important to mention that, as Damien said, there's a 9% corporate tax here in the UAE, but you could not be eligible for that and you can be still paying 0% corporate tax. So that's good news. 100% foreign company ownership and 100% profit and capital repatriation. This is really important because most of the Middle Eastern countries require that minimum 51% of the shares belong to a local citizen. This has been traditionally done in the UAE as well. UAE citizen had to own the 51% of the shares of the company, which was kind of a barrier for the foreign investor to own a company here. Now this has changed. In both mainland and in the free zone, you can own 100% of the company without restriction. You also have cutting-edge infrastructure, state-of-the-art roads, ports, airports. I would add here as well the education, the healthcare. Everything works really well, even though it's on a private basis. Diversified economy, 70% of the UAE's GDP is generated from non-oil and gas sectors, as Damien said as well. But I want to focus on IT companies, right? As you might know, now we are hosting the COP, the sustainability event worldwide. Most of the world representatives for all the countries are assisting here, and the Pope is coming tomorrow. We have the National Entrepreneurship Agenda, Dubai Economic Agenda. There are several options outside from the free zones, like the Abu Dhabi Global Markets or Dubai International Financial Center, to host companies under the common law jurisdictions, because here we have the Sharia law. So in terms of wills as testament, it can be an inconvenience for the person or the investor setting up the company. And in some cases that require high investing or big law firms, for example, they can do a DIFC or an ADGM company. So first important point of what I'm explaining, I'm going to differentiate between mainland and free zone. I believe this is the most important thing. Mainland companies, of course, you will have the 100% company ownership, as I said. Same thing for the capital and profit repatriation. You can do all kind of IT activities. This is suitable more for physical establishments, businesses that need physical spaces, shops. Other than IT, I would say real estate activities that can be done all around the UAE.
See you, bye.
So you don't have that limitation inside the free
You
zone.
tell me, no, about Thursday.
You have the freedom to trade all around the UAE, and you can issue an unlimited number of visas. Of course, as I was saying, you are the sole proprietorship of the company. You can either do it in that way. You can have an LLC. You can have a civil company. And I would say one of the negative points of a mainland company is that you have to add and contribute to the bank with the minimum capital share. This is something really important because in terms of liability towards other investors and other companies, you have to answer with a minimum share capital. Mainland companies, of course, are more expensive than a free zone company because of the cost of establishment, not only for the license itself. You need a physical space, you need establishment cards, you need a series of visas, and the requirements that the government has set up, since there's no requirement for a local UAE citizen to be part of the capital ownership of the company, are quite high. So these mainland setups are usually recommended in cases like real estate activities, brokerships, or physical establishments. And if we push it a little bit further, for trading companies who want to do the logistics inside the UAE themselves. Free zone companies. Well, I believe this is the most important point for you to know. For IT companies in Sri Lanka investing here in the UAE, again, I would say it's the most suitable one. Why? Because these are activities that are allowed to do inside the free zone. Normally, these kind of businesses are trading worldwide, not only inside the UAE. It can be done through a professional service, which doesn't have that limitation like the mainland is doing. So even though free zones have the limitation to be trading from free zone to free zone, or from the free zone itself to other countries, you can even do professional services inside the UAE, even though it's to companies located in the mainland jurisdiction. So that's a really good point for companies setting up here, because they don't have any kind of limitation while doing these IT businesses. Another good point is that there's no physical office space required. And mostly all the free zones, we're giving as a solution, normally it's a virtual office space. We call that FlexiDesk as well. It's like a co-working space that serves as the address for the company, so that when you're opening the bank account or other kind of applications, you already have an address without needing to pay for a physical space for the whole year or during your business activity, even though you're not using it. Of course, same thing as the mainland. You have 100% company ownership and capital and profit repatriation. There's corporate tax and VAT exemption, subject to certain criteria. This is something that I will explain in the next screen. And of course, as I'm saying, more affordable options than mainland setup. Minimum paperwork, as well as the company can be set up remotely. You don't need to be here present in the UAE to set up the company. You can be in some another country, send the documents via email, online, and in timelines as short as 1 week, you can have the company set up and everything ready to go to issue your visa or to start operating. Brief mention to offshore jurisdiction. Same thing, you can be owning the shares of the company. I wouldn't say there's much of a difference with a free zone company. Only thing is the bank account opening. Bank account opening here, it's really tough if you are not a resident. So it's key to understand that it's not the company, it's the residency visa, the great benefit of having a company in the UAE, because this allows you to open a bank account easily, thus to benefit from the legal and tax framework. So even though you don't need annual audit or no share capital requirement and doesn't have income tax, this is a big inconvenience. It can be done as well. There's lower costs for setting up the company, maintenance costs, but as well, normally bigger headaches. So if you're a resident in the UAE, that can be done. You can set up as well a special purpose vehicle to serve as a holding company of existing companies that you might have either in other countries or in the UAE as well. And well, brief mention as well to what we are doing. As you might know and understand, we are doing company setup. We are communicating with all jurisdictions. There are several free zones in the UAE, depending on the budget, depending on the needs, the activity that you're doing. We would recommend one free zone or another. Protective layers for your business. Again, residency is really important. Bank account opening is really important. And liability and ownership, sometimes it's important for the entrepreneur, for the investor. So we are taking care about that. We're giving solutions for that as well. And of course, costs. Saving costs when setting up the company is really important. We cannot forget that it's the business itself and the activity that the investor is doing, the one that is giving the profit. So we will try to give the best options, best costs, so that we keep the structure really cost effective. In terms of corporate tax, as my colleague Damian mentioned before, this is something new from June 2023, this year that is ending. So the cabinet in the UAE introduced the corporate tax. This is applicable mainly for mainland companies. Until 375,000 dirham, you will remain exempt. But after that threshold, you will start to pay 9% on all the benefit that you are having as revenue after that number. That doesn't happen really in the free zone because they have a minimum exemption, which I will explain afterwards. But 3 essential actions are required, even though you're a mainland company, even though you're a free zone company. You have to register for corporate tax. You need a corporate tax number. you need to keep accounting records. All the transactions that you are doing with your clients, with the suppliers, you have to keep a record of it. And together with these first 2 points, you have to file a tax return every financial year to the FTA, to the Federal Tax Authority, so that you declare either if you're paying corporate tax or not. So here in Virtuthon, we are helping in that. In the last 2-3 months, we've been helping more than 30,000 entrepreneurs, giving this package for free. We're still doing it. We are doing the registration for free, accounting services for free, and guaranteeing zero penalty, so that everyone is prepared with this new regulation. Also to mention, free zone companies fall under the exemption if they are invoicing or have revenue lower than 3 million dirham per year, which is around $750,000. If you are having less than $750,000 per year, guaranteed, you're not paying corporate tax. You just have to follow these 3 steps: register for corporate tax, keep the accounting records, and do the tax return. But again, still no corporate tax. If you have a mainland setup, you will have to follow the 9% criteria, but this is not applying yet for free zone companies, so that's quite good news. And I believe the question and answers will be done after all the interventions. So yeah, I will leave it to the next colleague. And as well, I leave here the contact details, just in case someone needs our help with any setup. Again, it can be done remotely. You can contact me, you can contact one of my colleagues as well. And of course, together with Slascom, we will be proud to be helping entrepreneurs from Sri Lanka and investors from Sri Lanka as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Alvaro. Thank you so much, Damien, for that comprehensive presentation. So we can actually take the questions later on after the speaker presentations. As you may already know, we just concluded a delegation visit to UAE, and this delegation took part in GITEX and North Star, one of the largest tech conferences that happened in UAE. Just to share the experience, whatever these companies had in the UAE market, we have Orel IT, who will be sharing their experience in the GITEX conference. So I would like to invite Kalinda Wickramage. He is the country head for the UAE market, representing Orel IT. Kalinda, over to you to share your thoughts.
Thank you so much. Before we dive in, let me just give you a brief of the overview and what I'm going to share today. So we'll start off by sharing our experience with GITEX, and then which is one of the most prominent tech events in the region. And then we'll explore the opportunities that the UAE market holds for an IT BPM sector. And plus, following that, would like to shed light on why we decided to open our tech quarters in the UAE and the opportunities that we have identified. So GITEX, the Gulf Information Technology Exhibition, has been a game changer for many of the tech industry. In the many tech industry. So our journey at GITEX was nothing shorter than exciting. The vibrant atmosphere and the cutting-edge innovations, and the diverse range of professionals that we encountered were truly inspiring. It's an event that is not only showcasing the latest technology, but also provides a valuable platform for networking and collaboration. So many who participated would agree with me on the same. Even though GITEX was quite crowded, but there were a lot of room for networking rounds, and then also there were very good positive collaborations that took place as well. and also the following networking rounds what we had organized by, of course, Mr. Alexi, and then plus the Sri Lankan IT Professionals Association. So apart from that, the UAE has emerged as a hub of technological advancements, creating a plethora of opportunity in the IT BPM sector. And I think Damien shared quite in detail about the same factor, which has been clearly identified as as UAE being a technological hub where that all these advancements and then the country's drive also to like supports that same initiative, and the commitment to innovation as a country, the commitment to innovate digital transformation and its strategical geographical location makes it a prime destination for businesses looking to expand their footprint, because it not only open up for UAE, and also it actually open up for the entire global vicinity. So I think being in the UAE market would benefit any company's global expansion really well. So to talk about why RLIT, or rather why we chose UAE for our tech quarters, well, apart from what I just said, the answer actually lies in the many opportunities that we have identified. From a promising startup ecosystem to government-driven push towards smart cities, the UAE it provides a rich ground for tech companies. Additionally, the country's commitment to diversification and sustainability is aligning seamlessly with RLIT's mission and its values. So, opening our tech quarters in the UAE is actually a strategic move, which also enables us to be at the heart of a dynamic market, fostering the innovation and collaboration. Also, the state-of-the-art infrastructure and its easy doing business methods were pivotal factors in our decision-making process as well. In establishing our presence in the UAE, we identified opportunities in the areas such as e-commerce, cloud computing, cybersecurity, digital transformation initiatives across industries. The government commitment to invest in these sectors further amplifies the potential in the growth and success as well. So, aligning with all of these, I think our journey with Jitex also that actually helps us to come up with new strategies, and then also to have more room that we have identified that more industries are there in order as an IT company for us to keep our mark. So that's it from my side, our side. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kalinder. So we have another company who would like to share their experience at Jitex. So we have Rikas Moin, the Assistant General Manager, Digital Services Platform, Innovation and Training. Rikas, please share your experience at Jitex.
Thank you very much. And give me a minute till I load my screen.
Yeah.
I hope this is visible to you.
Yes, Rikas, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So thank you very much for the opportunity to express our takeaways at the Jitex and the Expand Note Star exhibition. So to the people or the audience who are unaware of DMS, we are a company from a group of company which is established in Sri Lanka and in the region. So we have a history of projects and customers and serving the customers in the region as well as globally. So these are some of our offices, and so we to highlight we have already established our entity in Abu Dhabi a couple of years back as a group of company move, but after the COVID pandemic, our presence was not so significant. So we thought of to make this GITEX and the North Star event to re-establish and reconnect our establishment there, and take it forward from there onwards. So we are a company partnered with these established principles and the industry affiliations. So this gave us a lot of strengths, a lot of representation, especially with the SLASCOM, the EDB, and the chambers, as well as the SL Consulate office and the ambassador, as well as the Sri Lanka IT professionals in UAE. They're very helpful towards reaching out, helping, getting connected. So these are some of the services. I am not going to take you to a kind of a sales promotion or something, but these are some of the activities or the services we try to promote in the region. We as a service company. So this in UAE there's a lot of potential for the startups, the product companies, as well as the service companies. So we represented the exhibition this time as a service company. So these are some of our service pillars we were trying to get connected to the potentials. So talking about our key opportunities we had during the exhibition, we were predominantly in the Expand North Star Pavilion. So what we felt and what we experienced was we are a tiny island. We also had a very tiny representation in the GITEX as well as the ENS exhibition. So we suggest that the next year we can have more companies representing Sri Lanka and have a lot of stalls and a dedicated pavilion where we showcase our expertise, software solutions, startups, and so on. So our key opportunities we found, there was a lot of networking events were there. We were able to connect with the industry leaders, peers, and with potential collaborations. And as a brand, we had the visibility in the exhibition as well as to the target market. So also this gives a lot of opportunity to learn about the market trends, the technology insights, and so on, because that's where most of the tech companies come in, bring their technologies and showcase to the world. So these are some of the short summary in terms of what we experienced there. The key learnings, how to successfully create strategies to engage with the potential customers, and how to navigate on the unforeseen challenges, because there were a lot of challenges. We don't want to highlight the challenges we had, as general, but we came out of that. We overcame those in a positive way, and a lot of help from the organizers and the consulate general and the EDB as well as SLASCOM and Sri Lanka IT professionals in UAE. So that's some of the important things, and the timely follow-up after the exhibition would also give some, good trust and engagement with the customers. So as key takeaways in our presence there, what we understood was the UAE market is very good. It's a money melting market. You have a lot of opportunities, but you have to have the patience because it takes time. Unlike the Western countries, you can immediately strike a deal, but here you need to be patient. You need to get connected properly and earn trust in that market. The more you have connections and the trust you build, then you can have a lot of opportunities and the potentials. And you need to have kind of proper follow-ups. As if I say proper follow-ups, that's not a place to do all the cold calling and sending various spammers. That's not the market to work on. So you have to have the proper engagement in that. Also, if you have a lot of success stories where you can bring it to them and showcase that we have done a lot of projects, have a lot of success in the areas of your expertise. And also the skill expertise in the areas would also have a lot of potentials to growth. Also, if you have a regional presence there, if you have already an established business entity, or as Alvaro has said, a bank account, or a way of having the business there, that makes things more easy to deal and have the process going fast. So these are some of the key takeaways we found interesting and working. This is our legal entity in Sri Lanka as well as in UAE. So thank you very much, SLASCOM, and the organizers to giving us the opportunity to express our key takeaways from this recent visit to GITEX and Expand Note. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rikas, and also Kalinga, for sharing your valuable thoughts and the experience you had at GITEX and Northstar. So these experiences will actually give our SLASCOM member companies and also non-SLASCOM member companies to decide when they are participating in GITEX 2024. So let's move on to our next speaker. So our next speaker is Mrs. Indumini Kodikara. She's the Director Export Services for Sri Lanka Export Development Board. She will be basically talking about the support and assistance that the Export Development Board can give our Sri Lankan IT BPM companies to enter the UAE market, and also to whatever the support that they can give when our companies are participating in GITEX and Northstar. Mrs. Indumini, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Lakshmi, and thank you to SLASCOM and to the Consular General. So EDB has been actively promoting the Sri Lankan IT BPM sector in UAE since 2010, maybe more than that. Like we have records from 2010, and if you take around 70 companies were introduced to the UAE market, out of which about 62 were GITEX participants since 2010. And like we have identified the UAE as a potential market, and we have provided financial assistance also earlier. for the SME tech companies to, and even for the startups to go to the GITEX Technology Week. But as you all know, now currently with the economic crisis, we are unable to facilitate financially to go to GITEX. That's why, but we are continuously in dialogue with the Sri Lanka Embassy in Abu Dhabi and Consulate in Dubai. So even during the COVID pandemic time also, we have conducted a webinar and conducted some, have connected some companies with the Sri Lankan IT Professional Association also. So apart from this financial support by EDB, we could provide market information, which we have done for individual companies. We had the Statista, that's a database where we just go and dig in information and find out if they require. And if the companies require specific market information on regulations, I think now Damien and Alvaro gave a good overview of what are the rules, taxes, and how they should go into the market of UAE. So maybe in future we can connect with them if we get more new companies who are not at the webinar today. So we can maybe connect them to get more information on that. And further, we provide recommendations if they are in need of any verification of buyers, or if they need visa recommendations. We check with the company and we provide that support as well. That is as part of our day-to-day work from EDB. And further, we could facilitate business meetings with UAE companies through the embassy and with the support of our consulate in Dubai. Those are the basic functions that EDB does for our exporter community in tech plus in the other sectors as well. So I hope I have just covered what EDB is doing. And thank you. If there's any question, you can ask maybe during the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Indumini. Thank you for that comprehensive presentation. So with that, I think we can move on to the Q&A session. So if the audience have any questions, you all can actually type it in the chat box. Panel of speakers will be able to respond to your questions.
Hi guys, good evening. This is Rajiv. Hi Alexi. Just wanted to, first of all, thanks Slascom. It's good that you all are doing this, and I think I welcome these kind of events. Secondly, I'll quickly get to the point because I'm sure there are other questions as well. Alvaro, you mentioned that corporate tax is going to be introduced from next year, but the free trade zone, it won't apply, at least not in the foreseeable future, but then you'd still have to furnish some of the expected returns, get yourself a corporate tax ID, etc. Just to make sure that I heard it right, I knew that 9% tax is coming in, but you said that for the free trade zone, it won't be applicable. Did I hear you right?
I think
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. You said
Okay,
up until $750,000 of revenue, it won't be applicable, right?
Yeah, so the threshold right now is for 3 million dirham, right? If you're making less than that in a financial year, you're not paying any corporate tax because you're...
That's applicable for both the companies set up in the mainland as well as the free trade
No. Again, that's for free zone companies, only for free zone companies. If you're doing less than...
All companies in the mainland will be subject to the 9%. However, for the free trade zone companies, there is a minimum amount of 750,000 set. So there is a little bit of a portion.
In the mainland, this will be done until 2026, right? Lower than 3 million dirham, $750,000. If you're making less than that in a financial year, you're exempt corporate tax. For the free zone, it's still gonna be for a longer time. But again, the important thing here is that if you're making less than 3 million dirham, you're falling under the small business relief. That's it.
Okay, great. And you mentioned another interesting fact there. If you're providing IT services, irrespective of whether in the free trade zone or in the mainland, there is no difference at all. The main difference would be if you're a manufacturing company, it makes sense to set up in, or real estate company, it makes sense to set up in the mainland as opposed to setting it up.
Yeah, exactly. For IT companies, the most recommendable structure is in the free zone, because for mainland companies, if it's not a physical establishment or you're doing big trading or logistics on your own end inside the UAE, then it's not worth it. The costs of setting up are higher. The corporate tax, it's higher. You don't have that assurance that for the after 2026 you won't be exempt in corporate tax. So it's really important to set up properly. As I said, we give these recommendations depending on the businesses, but again, for IT services, 95% of the cases, the best way to set up is in the free zone. Then depends on the free zone, depends on the budget, depends on the clients you're having, their location, nationality. We will do one free zone or another, but in terms of setting up, free zone is the best option. Yeah.
So Medan also falls into that same category as a free trade zone, right? Medan free trade.
Yeah, correct. Medan is a free zone. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, thank you, Alvaro and Alexia. I'll see you this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Alvaro, I think if you can take the next question as well, from Heshani. Can we get more details about stating bank accounts?
Where's this question?
Heshani.
Yeah. Okay, I see from Kushani. How much does it cost to start a single shareholder software company in the free zone? So Kushani, depends on the nationality, depends on the what you are having as a prospected revenue per year, depends on the location of the clients. We can give a really cost-effective option in Northern Emirates, which have free zones, like for example, Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah. They have really cost-effective options. From $3,000, you can set up with one activity if you are the only shareholder. It's a really good cost, taking into account that you're not paying any corporate tax. And the renewal fees after 1 year, it's not even $2,000. This is including the residency as well, so it's very recommendable. And second of your question is, what's the cost to file accounts and maintain a company without the office space? Depends. This cost, we are doing it ourselves for most of the companies. We're doing it like for around $1,000 per year. All the accounting, all the registrations, all the filing. You can do it on your own as well. But the important thing here is to follow the 3 steps I said before. You have to file a corporate tax declaration every financial year. You have to manage your accounts, accountability of that, and you have to be registered for corporate tax. It's really important to follow these 3 steps. If not, the UAE government and the FTA is going to be sanctioning your activity, and that's what we don't want. So yeah, when we set up a company, normally we register the company for corporate tax. We recommend to do the accounting. As I said before, we are now doing accounting as a global investment that we launched a couple of months ago, so that every new company is prepared for corporate tax as it's a new regulation. So we are dealing with the registration, accounting, and everything. But yeah, as you can see, it's a really cost-effective thing to set up. It's important to consider there's no corporate tax in these cases. So yeah.
Lakshmi, I can see there's a question saying, are your services free? I don't know from whom it's referring to, whether it's the Professional
Yes,
Association, EDBO.
Yeah.
It's
Fatima, if you
EDB services are free actually, but those days free, plus we have been spending to take the trade stall, plus even part finance the construction as well, but now the companies will have to pay on their own. But the other services, apart from getting buyer contacts and all, it's very minimal fee we charge, and all the other services are free. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have another question, actually, 4 questions from Lalind. Can companies incorporate in FTAs approach companies located in the mainland? Alvaro, would you like to take these 4 questions as well? I think you're the best person to answer these.
Yeah, no worries. Of course, I would be glad to answer, Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading the question for free trade zones for free trade zones companies. Of course, you can approach the mainland companies. Depends on the activity you're doing. It's really important. That's why each case is different. For example, if you're doing trading, you have the limitation to trade between the free zones, but that doesn't mean that you don't have any possibility to do your activity on the mainland. You can do it through a third party, through a distributor. As it's a commercial activity, you cannot do it directly. But for professional activities, mostly again related with IT, of course, you can do it directly. There's no restriction. So that's really good news. Then there are several specializations, such for real estate companies, which have to be done in the mainland because this required approval from the real estate regulatory authority. Physical shops, physical commerces, they have to be on the mainland. But again, free trade zone setup is the best one for IT companies. If you want government bids, answering to your second question, of course, it's necessary a mainland company. Free trade zone companies cannot apply for a government bid. Only mainland companies can. So even if you're doing a business that it's feasible to be done in the free zone, but you want to benefit from government bids or do projects with the UAE government or with some emirate, definitely it's a mainland company what you need. Can a company incorporated in a free trade zone have its office out of the free trade zone within the same emirate? Of course, I would say 95% are not allowed because free trade zone, it's a jurisdiction. You cannot operate outside. That's the main rule. So the office necessarily has to be inside the free trade zone. But there are exceptions. There are some free zones, for example, Maidan free zone, which one of our attendants was mentioning before. This free zone is issuing NOCs, which is non-objection certificates. So in the case you have the license in this free zone and you want the office outside of the free zone or in some other emirate, of course you can do it. And the cost of the license here is not that much. It's like $3,000-4,000. So yeah, there are cases in which you can have the office outside of the free zone, definitely, yeah. And last of the questions, can the company incorporation and bank account opening done remotely? Shouldn't we come physically for the fingerprint? These are 3 steps, basic 3 steps. You have to issue the license. You don't need to be here for the license. For the residency visa, which is the second step, you need to be in the country. We can manage that for as short as 5 working days to have the residency. But after that 5 working days, you have 2 options for the bank account, which is the last step. You can either sign the bank account physically in the UAE, do the application here, or you can do online banking. Once you have the Emirates ID and you have the residency, you can open it from wherever you want. Outside the UAE, that's possible as well. So answering to your question, opening the bank account, yes, you can do it outside of the UAE, you can do it remotely, but previously you have to come to the UAE before to issue your residency visa, which will take 5 working days. Normally it's 3 to 4 weeks, but we can fast track it to 5 working days.
Thank you, Alvaro. Laninda, so I think you got a very comprehensive answer for your questions. Do we have any more questions for the speakers? Okay. Okay, so Sajinath has, there is a question from Sajinath. What are the best sales channels to take when trying to react UAE leads? Examples, social media, direct email, cold calls, etc.
Yeah.
UAE, yes, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I meant
yeah.
not react. They're trying to reach UAE leads.
Sorry, what was that? Reach. Okay, got it.
Yeah, reach.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, general. So this is just a general observation, depending on the experience that we have and as an association.
Yeah.
We feel that usually it is mainly physical sort of interactions and networking that lead to leads in the UAE. If the better I mean, direct emails would work, but in our sort of experience, a local presence would be helpful for getting leads, because getting the networking opportunity to talk directly to a client is quite important. The people look very skeptically at sort of remote companies doing stuff. Even if you just have one employee or one person here in the UAE who could go and meet your client, that would sort of build that trust with the client. So that is what we have observed. There might be exceptions, but this is what us as an association would recommend to in any company trying to find leads in the UAE.
Sure. Thanks, Damien. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just add, sorry, Kuminda here. Can I
Yes,
just add
Kuminda.
something on
Yes,
top of,
please.
on top of what Damien said? So one of the things that you have to realize is what Alvaro said, right? So it's very easy to set up a company in Dubai or UAE, which means it's very easy to set up a company to any person, right? So basically, there'll be a lot of people that would set up companies here for different reasons. So because of that, a company that probably operated remotely, small company, or probably Alvarez would agree with me, a company set up in a unknown owner free zone, people would look at them at a very, how to say, they will be very skeptic. So that is where that importance of physical presence, going and meeting a person, talking to them one-to-one, that really helps, because probably in a different country where the companies has to be better established, spend their long period, set up a company, they would have a more credibility on a company when you go with a company name. But here one of the things is, because of that, so much easy to do that, it's not easy to build that credibility amongst the other companies. On the other hand, if you already have a business that you still want to set up a company to run that business, in that case, since you already have a customer, then setting up a company in another smaller free zone, you don't need to build the associated credibility. That would help. And this is something I have observed. I mean, maybe Alars, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this one.
Thank you, Damien, and thank you, Kuminda, for adding in to that answer. Do we have any more questions? If we don't have any more questions, we can wrap up the session.
Next question. It seems like you guys are really, successful when it comes to, the IT industry in UAE and whatnot. So I was just wondering, like, in terms of marketing, like, what would you recommend, for us to establish some sort of a presence, maybe even an online presence, an offline presence, so on and so forth? Like, what type of marketing techniques would you recommend?
Sachina, I think networking, that's probably the number one, and probably the most, because as Damien said, right, that having that personal connection, the best way is to do the networking. And I have seen in our networking events where SLITPA, we organize these monthly networking events. I have seen people coming together and start discussing and building that trust, even among Sri Lankans, right? So that's, and not only that, but we try to bring in a larger, wider community into that. But that sort of builds up those contacts that can translate into a lead. Cold calls, I get like I don't know, 50 a day from different companies. Very difficult to, I don't think you can easily do that unless you do a call through a referral. Emails is, I don't know whether it's still valid. The 90% I would say networking.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in simple terms, trying to do a sale remotely is not easy.
Yeah. I just want like apart from the sales, like let's say you're trying to market your company, right? You're trying to market your offering, and your achievements and your credibility and whatnot. Like when you're marketing, like what are the best marketing tactics you can use to kind of get the word out there?
What type of product are we talking? If it's a consumer product, I think it's maybe a different sort of a tactic. Traditional marketing materials would work. If it is corporate, I think that one-to-one contacts.
Yeah, and so like as Kuminda said, I mean networking, but like as far as marketing a product or a service is concerned, I find that event sponsorships of sort of any related event that goes a long way, be it a physical event or maybe a webinar or something like that could be a good sort of a market potential, the marketing potential. The other one would be just as far as the credibility is concerned, if you could host like a local domain, that would, for example, your website with a .ae sort of extension, and that way you could sort of build up a little bit of more market outreach than just having a .com or something like that. That makes it a little bit more easier. So it generally I find online marketing, emails and cold calls are less effective than sort of seeing someone sort of a service on online or like in person, as well as if possible, things like YouTube marketing could be a option. I see a lot of companies doing that even for smaller products, but then again, it is I don't know what the return on investment for that would be for YouTube, but as I said, event sponsorships and like getting your logo out and your branding out there.
Fine. Thank you, guys.
Can I just
Yeah.
one thing?
As SLITPA, we can do one thing. SLITPA is under an umbrella organization, which is called Sri Lankan Professional Associations. And under that, we have a group of associations like, the bankers, the hoteliers, the quantitative surveyors, the engineers, these type of groups. Now, if any of you companies have a product specific to banking or hotels or, these type of product, we can help you to reach those guys. We can probably work together, organize promotional event, or we could even, that we can work with you guys to, get in touch with those other professional organizations. So that is something as SLITPA, we can support you guys.
And again, Kuminda, another thing I just want to ask, because this is with Tom as well. What is the possibility of you helping Sri Lanka to help, I mean, ability to bid for government tenders here in UAE?
Okay. So there, this question somebody asked me a while back also. Now, I happen to, in my previous job, work for the government. I mean, I was a consultant for Ministry of Health, so I had some experience there. What I have seen is there is no process like what you call a public tender processes on most of these. What happens is there would be a consultant or an internal department, procurement department, that is required to go and invite for tenders. So basically they would select 5, 10, 15 companies. They do research or word of mouth, previous work experience, etc. They try and get those companies, and they send invitations to submit the RFPs. So the trick is how to get into that long list, right? That is where I think that is where I said the network, especially in the government, you have to go present your products, show that you are doing something, keep them engaged. So next time when they have that opportunity coming up, they will send you a invitation to participate. I haven't seen in newspapers saying public tender for so and so. I haven't seen much actually.
It's coming there. I recently saw this Dubai Future Forum, right? Were you aware of that?
Yes. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is the one actually runs the Museum of the Future.
Yeah, Museum of. So, what is do you think that Sri Lanka participating at least few of our companies in a forum like this will be helpful?
Any exposure, Alex, would
Huh?
be good. But thing is, any
No,
exposure
that's right.
would be
Because
good. Right? Yeah.
because he said that recently I saw that the State for Artificial Intelligence, he has stated that UA can be your test bed for future kind of thing. All right. So that is why I was thinking that because we don't participate in this kind. I mean, there are a lot of events happening here in Dubai that we don't participate as participants. To share your knowledge, to link up with other potential partners. These are the things that we should start promoting rather than, okay, GITEX is the event, but apart from GITEX, you have many other events. I mean, even the health one, right? I mean, the health expo.
The Arab Health.
Arab
Health.
Health.
That is in January.
It's
Yes.
a very good opportunity for Sri Lankan health related sector. Likewise, that's why I said that we should be able to send information from time to time to SLASCOM so that they can disseminate all this information. Or we can ask the SLASCOM to give a kind of a space in their website for you all, IT Professional Association here in Dubai, to give this information in their SLASCOM website from time to time. What do you think?
Yes, Mr. Sekara, yes, that can be done. So whenever you have any information about any trade fair, we have a way of communicating all these information to our membership. So you can share it with us, and that can be escalated to all to the membership. That can be done.
Good.
So thank you very much, Mr. Gunasekara, and also thank you very much, Kuminda, for answering those questions. I think we are actually half an hour behind time. There's one more question from Dulari. I think, Damien, if we can take that question also and wrap up the session. How about the marketing and e-learning products? We are currently using LinkedIn to reach out, but the success rate is very low. Damien, if you can give a quick answer for this question, we can wrap up the session.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah, Dulani. I mean, as I said before, Dulani, I mean, online sort of marketing usually doesn't work here. I mean, there would be outreach, but the sort of lead to success rate is not that great for these things. So as Kuminda mentioned, like we do have access to a large number of IT professionals, not only IT, but other professionals from the other industries. So there is an opportunity to sort of promote your product within these organizations. So that can be something that we can facilitate for you. So if you can reach out to us after at a later date, we can sort of talk and see how we can do that for you. That would be a better option than doing a LinkedIn or an online sales campaign, because usually from my experience that doesn't work in this region, unless it's a consumer product, unless it's something that sort of you can buy, like something that the end user can buy. It might not be something feasible. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Damien. Yeah, so since there are no more questions, we can actually wrap up the session. So I would like to thank every one of you who joined the session. And I hope that this session was very productive, and also you gained some knowledge about the UAE market. So I would like to also take the opportunity to thank the Consul, Sri Lanka Consul General in UAE, and also SLITPA, also the Export Development Board, for all the support and guidance given to organize this webinar session. So there was a question if the recording will be shared with the participants. Yes, all the registrants will be receiving the recording of this webinar. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks all. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.